Steve Gamache with a Chef Knives to Go quick look product video. This time we're looking at the Yamashin White #1 Gyuto 240mm knife. This line of knives has a core steel of Shirogami or white paper #1 carbon steel. The heat treat rating is about 60 plus. They don't really specify exactly, but around 60 or slightly over. The construction is a reactive iron cladding with a kudo-uchi finish over the top of that core. So you can see the core at the edge right here, exposed. There you go. And there's your KU finish. It's a pretty smooth finish. And they also have done a thin lacquer finish over the entire blade, which incidentally does extend down to the edge. So this might need a little bit of time on a stone or a little Idaho or ceramic rod to kind of knock that off the edge a little bit to get that steel exposed right at the edge of the blade. The weight on this knife is about 5.7 ounces. Again, let's go back to the cladding. This is a reactive knife, so there's no stainless on it. It's a completely reactive blade. The blade length is 247, so it's a little over a 240, 9.7 inches from tip to the heel here. And the overall length is almost 16 inches. The spine at the base is 3.5 millimeters right here, but that tapers down pretty quick and then holds that most of the way through the knife, tapers down a little bit more, and then holds that right to where you hit the grind about right here. You can see these are pretty common on these types of knives, and there's your grind towards the tip. The heel height here, spine to heel is about 50.6, so nice kind of middle of the road, slightly higher than middle of the road knife blade height for nice clearance. This is nicely done in terms of general fit and finish. It's a little sharp here at the heel choil area, and also the spine's pretty good. I'd probably relieve that just a little bit. Handle is just a good basic oval Howood plastic ferrule handle, nothing special. You've got a little bit of a step here between the plastic and the wood. That's pretty common on these. You could seal these up if you want it with oil or tongue oil or some other products if you'd like. You can sand it down if you want. The handle circumference is just slightly over 3 inches. And this has a little bit more clearance than some Gyutos here into the neck ferrule of the handle, which is kind of nice because your pinch does fit here. At least my finger fits here pretty good. So you don't always have enough space there for what I like with my pinch grip. A lot of people like to place their finger there. So it's got a nice shape to it. The grind on this knife, fairly thin blade towards the edge. There you go. And there's your profile. This particular knife, I'm pretty sure the term for this would be an overgrind. If you look at the blade carefully, I'll try to hold it. You can see there's a little bit of a dip right in here if you look carefully at the blade. And so you've got a continuous curve, a little dip, and then it comes back up towards the heel. And when you put this on the board, it's got kind of a step to it. And so this one's a little bit misground. I would say if you're going to get one of these, have Mark pick out one with a good smooth profile on the edge. So ignoring that particular dip in the profile, you can see it's pretty flat. And so this knife is oriented towards a flat profile. The balance point on this is right about here, so it's a little bit in front of a pinch grip. This knife is kind of light in the hand. It's got a light feel to it. It's lighter than its weight indicates, and it's just a nice feeling knife. I'm going to reserve judgment on performance totally till I get one of these in my hands without a grind issue, but it did go through product quite well. The characteristics of this blade, let's bring in the Tanaka to compare. So this is a kind of a competing knife in a general category of these fully carbon KU or kudo-uchi knives. So here's the Yamashin, and you can see the edge is pretty flat and the profile is pretty flat on that. The spine kind of tapers down towards the tip, kind of a little Funayuki style to it, and the Tanaka doesn't. So it's got more of a classic profile where the spine holds its height and then dips down much later in towards the tip, and the arc of the curve on the profile comes up more towards to meet that versus this one. So you can see quite a bit of difference in the profile. So the Yamashin is definitely oriented towards a flatter profile if you like that. It's got more of a pointed tip to it for maybe some finer work. So a great knife if you want to learn how to sharpen, and white number 1 is among the easiest to sharpen carbon steels there are. And the out-of-the-box edge on this is okay, but it's so easy to sharpen. It'll make you feel like a champ on the stones. And so if you're looking for an inexpensive way to test out the carbon steel waters or to learn sharpening, this or its 210 counterpart would be excellent low-cost choices. So it's a nice knife. So there you have the Yamashin white number 1 Gyuto 2 40mm knife.